This is a video about poor children living in rural conditions. Clearly, for them, education is a luxury. Someone said, I was reminded of my personal experiences while looking at these children. It is painful and indeed ironic to see that even though half a century has passed, their experiences are still reminiscent of mine. Someone said, wherever communism rules, real improvements in ordinary people's living standards never follow, despite increases in GDP and other data seemingly representative of national well-being. The Chinese Communist Party has been claiming it has lifted millions of people out of poverty. The reality, however, has proved that only those associated with the party have benefited. Someone said, children's livelihood reflect the true state of society in communist China. Those who claim that the CCP is a good regime must have lost their conscience. Someone said, there are children living in even worse conditions than shown in the video, such as these. Even though they are wearing clean clothes, their true situation may not be any better. These are children with scoliosis. Perhaps many of them have been treated by the hospitals as cash cows since they were little. Even though it appears that this girl is wearing comparatively clean clothes and is studying, it seems that she is not in a good situation either. She is 13 years old. Both of her parents passed away when she was little. She has been living by herself ever since. As seen in the video, there is no desk in the shelter. Every day she works on her homework while lying on a stool. Oftentimes, there is not enough food to eat. But she said the biggest wish that she has is to have a happy family and that everyone is safe. When being asked about what she hopes to do after growing up, she said she wants to renovate the abandoned house she currently lives in and transform it into one that appears to have been occupied by people. In fact, in communist China, many children not only live in poverty and have no access to education, some of them have even taken on the heavy responsibility of defending rights for their parents at a young age. The child shown in the video is the 3-year-old son of Lu Xiansan, a lawyer who is persecuted by the Chinese Communist Party. The sign that he held in his hands reads, "Defending the rights of my father, lawyer Lu Xiansan."
对呀，我们来维权门都进不去，大家来看一下，这就是全国律协。上次我来的时候说没人没入住，结果下班的时候很多人给我出了，今天又给我讲还没入住，是不是后面办公呢？对呀。
There are also young people in mainland China who chose to bravely stand up against the powerful. This is a group of middle school students holding a banner that reads, "Fight until we die. Give us our break." They are from Tengzhou No. 1 Middle School. The Chinese law requires that National Day holiday lasts for 8 days, but the school administration shortened it to 1.5 days. The students put up posters and brochures across the campus to express their dissatisfaction. Some students also expressed that the school administration once promised that there will be a 7-day holiday break during the National Day period. The teachers also supported them to express their opinions, and eventually the school administration agreed to arrange a 7-day holiday break. Someone said, "We should support this kind of resistance coming from students because it shows that they have not been completely silenced by power." But what are the consequences of speaking up? Someone shared that a female student who was a member of the class of 2019 at a dentistry school was expelled simply because she posted some tweets supporting Hong Kong's pro-democracy movement. She was caught by the internet police, who identified her school and demanded the school administration to expel her as punishment. On the other hand, the liberty that children living in the free world truly enjoy.
Then he said those words I will never, ever in my life forget. Donald J. Trump am running for president. And he talked about all these issues. And one of the other reasons I like him is because this is my favorite reason. We will build a wall on our southern borders. And Mexico, no buts about it, Mexico will pay for the wall. Mexico, not us. Mexico, one way or another, they are paying for that wall. They will.
Do you talk about this to your teacher?
Oh, yeah, she's actually a Republican.
Oh, she is? Does anybody in your school give you a hard time for supporting Mr. Trump?
Lots of the kids in my class do. Mostly the 6th graders do a lot, you know. Yeah.
What do they say to you?
Well, they say they really know me for my golden jacket I love, but then they say, "Oh, it's Trump girl," and stuff like that. But, you know, I don't let it get to me.
So what are the major problems you see in this country?
Immigration, you know, I love immigrants. If they come here legally. I don't like the word illegally. I like legally. And if they're not going to do that, we have to put some precautions.
As a kid, what do you see as, other than immigration, what is the other problems that you see?
Education. The teachers union controls everything. So I like how Donald Trump put in charge of education a lady named Miss Betsy, I think.
Betsy DeVos?
Yes, Miss Betsy DeVos. And I mean, she's just great. She's doing everything we need to. And I heavily support school choice.
Did your parents get you involved in politics?
Not really. Actually, my mommy was a Ted Cruz supporter in the primaries. I told her on the primary the day of voting, I told her to vote for Trump. She needs to vote for Trump. She didn't listen to me, but that's okay. But now, after the primary, she realized the mistake she did. I like Ted Cruz, you know? Just not as much as Donald Trump.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I'm going to graduate from Penn State University, be in the Army for 5 years, be a police officer, be a homicide detective, be a private investigator, all while having the hobby as an Egyptologist and an astronomer. And then I'll retire, become a judge, and then if the country really needs me, I'll run for president. Yes, on the Supreme Court.
Perhaps upon listening to her remarks and watching her speak, people could gain an idea about how Trump's newly appointed Supreme Court justice grew up. Someone said, "Clearly, people like her will be the future leaders of the Republican Party." This exemplifies how the education systems in democracies and dictatorships vastly differ. In the former, children can freely express their own opinions, while in the latter, which Communist China belongs to, only one voice can ever exist. On the evening of September 26th, Trump gave a speech in the rain in Pennsylvania. Someone said, "The 74-year-old billionaire abandoned his comfortable life and chose to confront the dark forces. He delivered his promises. His courage and bold actions have truly inspired people in America and around the world who embrace freedom and democracy to uphold faith. He deserves to be called the greatest president in the history of the United States." The first of the 4 2020 U.S. presidential election debates will begin at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on September 29th. The US-based Sound of Hope radio network has 4 channels that will broadcast the debate live from 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time and provide simultaneous interpretation on site. NTD TV will also broadcast all upcoming debates and the general elections dynamics. Professional live simultaneous interpretation will be provided by Zhang Lin and Iris Tao. Someone said, "Listening to Iris' interpretation, whether in English or Chinese, is indeed a treat." According to reports, before the debate had officially commenced, the Biden team rejected drug tests and ear electronic device inspection and requested there be a break every 30 minutes during the debate. According to Fox News, Biden has been given the debate questions in advance. With the US presidential election in full swing in China, Beijing's mouthpiece said that democracy, freedom, and the right to vote are all useless.
你们好多知识分子都在美国、英国训练的，一天到晚讲那个民主啊、自由啊，那玩意儿没什么用，知道吗？
Jin Canrong said there are many intellectuals and academics who are trained in the US and the UK to talk about democracy and freedom all the time, but in reality, these are completely useless.
你没有工业就没有就业吗？对不对？没有就业就没有教育啊！你投个什么票啊？这不是瞎搞吗？这个，这是一个 poison， 那是个毒药，知道吗？完全是害人的嘛，这个。
Without industries, there would be no employment. Without employment, there would be no education. What can the vote truly bring to you? It's nothing more than a type of poison that is entirely harmful.
你这饭都不给人家吃，教育也没有。你说你投票都解决了，那不是害人吗？那个，是不是？这是邪教啊！这是邪教，真是邪教啊！
You don't even give people food or access to education but claim that you will solve all the problems by giving them the right to vote. Isn't this harmful? Shouldn't this be labeled as a cult? It is indeed so. Besides Jin Canrong, there are also some others who claim that the Chinese people do not deserve to live in a democracy. Someone said if the person who said this is living in a Western democratic society, he can be seen as a selfish person because he already enjoyed the benefits of democracy yet still attacks others who are fighting for it. If the person who said this is living in communist China, then perhaps he is someone who dares not even to dream. In fact, this Chinese teacher's remarks are enough to refute what Jin Canrong said. Here in the video is Mr. Yuan Tengfei, a Beijing middle school teacher who has been given the nickname of the most awesome history teacher in history for his truthful and, according to Beijing, controversial lessons on history. He once said,
中国为什么不能搞民主啊？因为中国人傻，文化程度低，是吧？如果照搬了西方民主那套，就打起来了。
He said, why can't China be democratized? Some would claim because the Chinese people are stupid and poorly educated. If they copy Western style of democracy, they will fight against each other, and the nation will be in a state of chaos.
台湾多乱啊，三天两头上街，是吧？你像咱这儿多太平啊，是吧？咱这儿是人家是在议会里打架。 咱那儿可是进市委打架，对吧？你烧警车什么的，咱这儿干这个。
Look at Taiwan. Protests break out almost on a daily basis, but here in mainland China, peace abounds. But didn't you realize that the Taiwanese engage in battles at city council meetings, but we go to the municipal party committee meetings to actually fight and burn police cars on the streets?
你说中国人傻？ 好像不如印度人傻吧，对吧？印度文盲比中国多多了，人家是世界上最大的民主国家，从47年独立到现在12次全国大选，你见过有一次乱套的吗？是吧？你见过有一次乱套的吗？没有，是吧？没有，所以这东西不是说跟人民的文化素质水平没有什么直接联。
You claim that the Chinese people are idiots, but based on public data, aren't there more illiterate people in India than China? However, India is the largest democracy in the world. Since the day the Indian Independence Bill took effect in 1947, 12 national elections have taken place. Have you ever seen one time when it was messed up? No. So the issue of democratization is not directly related to the people's cultural level.
你怎么敢保证就是美国1787年独立的时候，美国人的文化素质比今天的中国人高？是吧？人家是民主的橱窗，搞了200多年的这种民主政治了。
How can you guarantee that when America became independent in 1787, Americans had a higher cultural level than today's Chinese people? America is the best living example of democracy. They have been engaging in democratic politics for more than 200 years now.
民主政治所以网上有的那个愤青呢，我们中国不需要民主，这人就是不愿意当人，愿意当狗，你没法说了
Some say that we don't need democracy in China. This can only mean that they do not wish to live like normal human beings do.
他愿意有奴才怎么着的，那你没法说，没法说
Someone said, it's people like him that I see as truly worthy of the title of real intellectuals. Although they often go off the syllabus, that is, what's required of them to teach, I hope that more teachers in China will have the courage to do so and share the true lessons of history. Someone reminded This teacher's peak period was in 2010 after his quick-to-learn lessons were posted and went viral online, but he was detained and persecuted not long after by the Chinese government. Since then, he has been very cautious about what to say. Someone summarized and told a painful, but also thought-provoking truth. What is the industry with the highest chance of becoming disabled in communist China? It is the education industry.
Child, we will bring you home. You'll be a flower that sees the spring. Soon